Welcome to Forever Exiled, the Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I am Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Wrecker of Days. Oh, you're not going with Mr. Day anymore, hey? It's kind of done?
No, it's still there. I still highly appreciate it when I'm called Mr. Day. You know, like with young kids now, they don't go, hi, my name's Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith. It's, hi, you can call me Mr. Jim or Miss Jan. They don't use last names anymore when they're talking to kids, teachers and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
It's never the last name.
Well, teachers still go the last name.
Some do. Anyway, I'm really disappointed because I really wanted to be a Mr. and my last name. You know what I mean? But now,
really?
I don't know. But oh man. Just so anyway, but it's different. Like when my kids come over to your place, I'm just like, yeah, no, hang on. I just got to go to Justin's to pick something up quick.
Yeah.
Right. And they just call you Justin. That's it. It's never Mr. and your last name. So, but I'm disappointed I missed that train. We got all modern just as I got to being a parent and got kids. And now this is my dad. What's his name? Dad. And I don't have the guts to go against the cultural grain here and say, oh no, my name's Mr. Last Name. So anyway,
episode 57, Forever Exiled.
That's a big number though.
It is 57. So let's give a quick shout out to our patrons this week. Thank you guys for supporting us. Patrons get access to our After Dark, which is our podcast after the podcast. Just a quick note, if you are curious about our Patreon or if you're interested in listening to After Dark or any of that thing with supporting the podcast, just a suggestion, wait till December 1st to sign up. So this is going to come out on Sunday. December 1st, I think, is Tuesday. Just the Patreon's really stupid with the way that it bills people. And it will always bill on the 1st of each month. Even if you sign up on the 30th of the month, you'll pay 2 times within a couple days. So all of our content, all past episodes of After Dark are always available. So you can listen to them anytime. But if you are interested or going to look into it, just a suggestion, wait till December 1st. If you absolutely can't wait, just go ahead and just send us a message and we'll refund the ones. You're not getting paid. You're not being billed twice within a couple days. So, but a big shout out to everybody who is supporting the podcast. You guys are amazing. And the link's down below if you're interested in more. How's your week, Ty?
I like your shirt. I know people can't see it, but I think it's hilarious.
2020 burning in a dumpster.
It's a dumpster that says just 2020 on it.
And it's on fire.
And the dumpster's on fire.
This has been this year, It is.
This year, hopefully,
I'm done
hopefully
with
you don't buy a shirt next year that's both years. You know what I mean? Hopefully this has gone by some part in early next year.
How's your week?
Good. Oh man. So just before we were a little late, my fault getting this podcast started today because my kids, when it's not a school night the next morning, they're allowed to sleep together. And so normally we'll make them a fort of some kind somewhere in the house or wherever. So they're in my son's room tonight and we made a huge fort all over his room. And so it's pretty cool. I was very strict with them. My wife had book club tonight. I have the podcast tonight. So I'm like, there's no trouble. There's no mercy. You get in trouble, you're getting separated. They have rules, they're allowed to play with their stuff. These are their books, but they're not allowed to, wrestle or anything like that, of course, which is always hard. I mean, you remember our sleepovers. It was always like Mike Tyson's knockout, but, and then bleeding noses. So anyway, my daughter, all of a sudden, we're getting ready to start and all of a sudden I hear screaming upstairs. So I go get started. Or I go upstairs and check it out. And my son's bleeding in the bathroom. So obviously a nice stable bedtime. And they were playing Dark Souls. And my daughter was a chest. And so she was all curled up. And then my son was lifting her head up slowly. Like, how you do in Dark Souls. You always open up a chest slowly. And her head came up too fast and smashed him in the face. So my kids were bleeding at bedtime because of Dark Souls.
It's funny that you tell a story just like that, because when I was 10, I don't remember, somewhere around 10, 8 or 10, we were playing some stupid game with my brother and sister, and we had these big plastic boxes, and they were inside this plastic box, and then they had taken the other plastic box and put it on top of it upside down so that it was like a giant box, and on the top had a hole in it. And for some reason, we were just stupid kids. And it was like they were supposed to be in a zoo or they were some sort of thing to look at. And I was outside the boxes and I looked in through the hole. And as I did it, my brother kicked the top box up and the plastic caught me right in the eye. I still have a scar, and I had to go get stitches. The whole side of my face was like full of blood. Kids are just dumb.
You know what though? Chicks dig scars. You can thank your brother because
you want to see the scar right here?
That's probably what got your wife. You can thank your brother.
That's what did it. Thank goodness.
Yeah. But no, this week that was a side story. So for those that hate this little segment of How Was Your Week, it's just starting.
For those of you who listen with kids around, Tyler's about to be an idiot. So we suggest you remove them from listening or listen ahead of time. We've warned you. Back to Tyler.
But so this week was a Santa week. For some reason, COVID, like our mail services encouraged everyone, like, hey, just FYI, we're not hiring extra people this year for the Christmas rush. Like, order your stuff early if you can, if you know the person. Like, we're really doing our best to kind of curve out the Christmas rush here for the Postal Service. So for some reason, we just got our kids just this past week to tell us what they wanted Santa to get them for Christmas.
Sure.
Now, did you ever believe in Santa when you were a kid? I honestly, it was never discouraged.
I haven't stopped. What are you talking
about? That's right. I honestly don't remember. Like, I don't ever remember it being discouraged in my family, but I don't ever remember believing in Santa or that like transition from like, oh gosh, that's silly. You don't remember that? Or did
this conversation's bothering me. I feel like there should be a warning at the beginning if you listen to us with your kids.
Well, that's right. Disclaimer.
I'm gonna add it right before this. Like, hey, if you listen with your kids, Tyler's about to say something stupid. I always did, Tyler. We grew up. If you don't believe, you don't get gifts. Didn't matter how old we were. We knew exactly what was happening. We were like,
that's right. You're 33. Yes, Dad, I believe.
My kids are the same way.
So we just got them to fill it out this week. And I'm like, oh crap. Like that's not enough time. And so anyway.
Enough time for what?
To get what they want.
Oh, because they Amazon's so fast now.
.com.
No, CA is good.
So here, let me tell you what my kids want, and then you'll see why I screwed myself. So both my kids really started getting back into Disney Plus's retro stuff, like Darkwing Duck, the old X-Men, which there's a million of, the old Spider-Mans. So one kid is so into the X-Men every night going, she wants an action figure of Rogue and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
They're impossible to find under 3 digits. I can't find any Rogue or Wolverine. That's like an actual action figure, something she can play with, not something that's like a weird statue or small statue. Impossible. And here's the thing. I go to Disney.com. I'm surprised I don't have access to tons of their merchandise or even links to merchandise that, where those toy makers have the rights to. Like, isn't merch the whole reason companies buy other companies for billions of dollars? Like, it's their biggest revenue. So anyway, I'm trying to find this Rogue and this Wolverine, and oh my goodness, like, it's not even that it's like Boxing Week and they're sold out. I can't, everything's so, limited. A company will make, like the legacy X-Men characters for a year and a half, but they're not going to make them forever. So all of a sudden, those things that I always saw at Walmart last year, I'm like, oh, that'd be sweet to buy my kids, but I'm not going to waste my money with it right now. All of a sudden, they're like $150, $200, and I can't find them anywhere. So anyway, I hope she's not going to listen to this because Santa's not coming for that kid. And then one of my other kids wants a Miles Morales bobblehead. Are you up on your Spider-Man stuff? At least the multiverse thing,
I don't even know what Miles Morales is. Is that a Spider-Man?
Yeah, he's one of the Spider-Mans. Okay. And so he wants a Miles Morales bobblehead because my daughter has a Spider-Gwen bobblehead. So he wants the other multiverse version, per se, of Spider-Man to match hers. And that one's super hard to find. I found one, but I was crazy lucky for a decent price. Crazy lucky. And he also wants 2 pencils.
Well, hey, you can do that. Santa can pull that one out.
Just normal pencils.
A 2 HB, please.
Yeah, I asked him, I'm like, well, do you want 1 pencil or 5 pencils? Why do you want 2 pencils? And he looked at me for a long time with a blank face. And he's like, a Miles Morales bobblehead? And 2 pencils, please.
No reason.
Nope.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. And then the last thing, and I'm sorry this is taking so long. I don't like basketball. Like, I love basketball and I appreciate basketball, but I'm not really interested in it in terms of my top 20 sports. My son's really into basketball. He's been playing NBA Jam like crazy, and he's discovered through all of the NBA Jam stuff, like the old school one, LeBron James, right? When he played for the Heat. And so he's just like, he can do everything with LeBron. He never misses. He's always slamming. He never gets rejected. So he's all of a sudden in love with LeBron James. And so I've told him, like, he doesn't even play for that team anymore. He plays for the Lakers now. And his mind's like processing this, and it's crazy because we watch a lot of football, and so he's noticed that Tom Brady's now in the Bucks, and I was always a Bucks fan, and they always lose, but now they always win. So I go to NBA.ca to get him just a normal Lakers t-shirt, but that says LeBron on the back. Can't. In NBA.ca, like the shop, the Canadian shop, I can only buy 6 teams specific shirts. Like, I can't even buy a normal t-shirt for a kid of any of the teams. There was only 6 teams available.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, so Santa's not coming for him either.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my week. I am the worst Santa ever.
And you're just making no sense. I don't know what you're talking about. How could you be him? Makes no sense.
Right. No, right. I am the worst parent to ever communicate efficiently with Santa Claus. Your turn. How was your week?
Much better.
Okay, good. I believe.
My week was really, 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 really busy. This COVID thing, I'm just done with it. I'm so done. Everything's just different now with work and how we have to deal with stuff. I know it's the same for everybody, whether, some people are working now, other places are getting closed down. I don't have a whole lot to talk about with regards to my week. In general, it was a fine week, but I do need to just throw this out there that I'm kind of disgusted a little bit. It's actually got me a little bit irritated the last day and a half with human beings.
Oh yeah. Welcome to my boat.
Surrey. So it's a city I think it was in Surrey. It's a city in BC, the province that we're in. A piece of garbage walked into a Walmart, was told to wear a mask, got mad, and beat the crap out of the employee.
Wow.
Like, on top of him, punching him in the face for, I would say, almost 2 minutes, while people videotaped and yelled at the guy. And I watched it and I was just like, the thing that bothered me is, so my son, he has a job where he makes minimum wage, and his job just shut down because of COVID again. They're not getting sales like they need to, so they're going to have to close down for a bit. But leading up to them getting closed down, he spent a day and a half stressed out about an upcoming shift, because his shift was just to be at the front telling people, hey, just so you know, you have to wear a mask. Now, for those listening, in BC, our provincial government mandated that you have to wear a mask in public right now. So it's not just businesses making that decision. It's actually been mandated now by the government. Prior to that, lots of businesses were saying that was one of the rules of coming into their place. It makes me so angry that there's trash out there that thinks because an individual tells them to wear a mask, which is not their personal decision, it's either mandated by the government in our case, or it's a choice by the business, not that individual, that you're going to treat them. It made me like physically angry.
Yep. Oh,
so
I
already know the people that are listening to us are not those types of people. I just can't believe that people like that exist. I don't like wearing a mask. I hate wearing the mask. It irritates me to no end. If I go out with my glasses on, I will lose my mind with a mask because they fog up. But I know it's not the individual's choice that I walked into making minimum wage. I also know that I'm doing it because we're being asked to try and, slow the curve, the whole thing, whatever. I don't actually care what the reason is. If a business says you have to jump on your right foot when you walk in my business, if I don't want to jump on my right foot, I'll go somewhere else.
Right.
I'm not going to be upset with them because they made a rule. Oh my God, Ty, I'm telling you, I watched this video and I got like physically, like I was saying to my son, I'm like, if I had been there, I feel like
You'd probably
I would be somebody
in jail for doing the right thing. Oh,
I would be so
hands
angry.
down, man. Yep.
Anyway, it just
Did
makes me so
anybody
angry.
help?
it was like a good minute and a half before somebody like kind of put their hand on his shoulder. And as he stood up, he wailed this guy in the face again on the ground. The guy's defenseless on the ground, being beat up by some piece of garbage. I don't know. Regardless, I don't care if he was a kid or he was 40, 50, 60. He's making minimum wage working at a Walmart. He's trying to pay his bills. Like he's like that just, I mean, and because you're some trashy person who doesn't want to wear a mask. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you, man. I can't tell you how many times I've had this conversation with you. I don't remember on the podcast or just on your steps, but like where we're from, we're told that wearing a mask is more helpful for the people around you, not for you. It prevents more from going out than coming in. And so it's a kind gesture. It's thoughtful. You're considering the people around you when you're wearing a mask. And oh my God, I hear you, man. I get so frustrated walking around and like just our culture where we're from, people think that their opinion for some reason has a value greater than 1 in 7 billion. You know what I mean?
There's arguments to be made on, there's crazy people out there who say everything's fake and it's all made up. And then there's people out there who don't want to wear a mask, and I don't want to wear a mask. I hate wearing the mask. But if I go into a store and I go out in public, I understand that's part of that process right now. Like it or not.
Do you know if the guy got caught?
They did get, he apparently, I think I heard in a report that he was caught, that they did catch whoever this guy was. But I just I'm trying like really hard not to swear. Put the mask on or don't go out. It's super simple. And it's like, it's not just here, it's everywhere. The US has crazy numbers. I was talking with Camille today, actually, and he was telling me that New Zealand's almost completely gotten rid of COVID again.
Those bastards.
But they've literally like just locked down their island, right? But put the mask on. Why is it? I just don't get what's so hard about that.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre to me that somebody who doesn't want to wear it thinks that their opinion should outweigh you know what I really like? That we'll get into PoE in 2 minutes here. I'm almost done my rant. I love that. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but Costco here has said, okay, some people can't wear a mask. If you can't wear a mask, you're going to have to wear a shield, and we'll provide the shield, but you can't come into our store with nothing. Right. Because there's people who have medical conditions and whatever. But I walked around Costco like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I think I talked to you about this, and I saw like 6 people not wearing a mask, and I was like, you dicks.
Oh, they don't do it at all.
I don't want to. Well, you can't now. You go through Costco now, everybody's got one. Because if you don't wear one, they give you a mask. You don't want to wear a mask, take a hike.
I'm so glad they're finally doing it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway, so my week was fine. That kind of killed it at the end of the week because I was just like, come on, like not here. I thought, you'd see that kind of stuff maybe in other places. But I think the thing that really just triggered me was the fact that I watched my son for a day and a half stress about an upcoming shift of having to tell people you have to wear a mask. And then I saw that and I just thought I would literally murder somebody if I saw them doing that to my kid.
Yeah. Oh, hands down.
Anyway,
it's the mentality of the heart though, right? Like now, I mean, a lot of that's showing because a lot of like to be thoughtful per se is law now, whether it's temporary or not. To be thoughtful, to be considerate of others is law. And there's so many examples in our own lives and everyone else's where you can have your own attitude and you don't see the consequence of it. You can have your own attitude. You could be a prick. You could be selfish. You could choose arrogance. And your narrow-mindedness doesn't see the consequence. You don't see how that reacts. But now, per se, you're saying, okay, well, you can't be arrogant and come into my store. And that's, it's the same mentality that people have in their whole life. But now it's really starting to shine through. And it's disappointing and it's sad to see.
My thing is just, if you don't want to wear a mask, then don't go out. But 100% do not take it out on that person who's making minimum wage just working for that company. Like they didn't make the rule. They're just telling. I actually don't think companies like Walmart's and other ones similar to that should be having staff telling people that they need to wear a mask. There should be security or somebody else, because the person coming in without a mask is a dick already. They're not a normal person that's going to be reasonable.
The one without a mask,
Yes, the one that's coming in without a mask already is an irrational dick. So you shouldn't have some poor person who's just trying to pay their bills, who's not trained in any way to deal with that kind of stuff, be the person that's having to say, hey, could you please put this on? Anyway, I will say one of my saving graces this week has been our Discord again, because I just like listening and reading what people are doing. And then especially with the private league stuff, it's been a lot of fun. But I think we should get into that. How was your PoE week? Because we got to play a lot this week.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good time personally for me to have the private league. The last one we had, I was just on my way to go on vacation with the family to Soyuz, so I only got a few days in, and so I only had time to level one character. That got me to 38 or 39 last time, which was a nice chuckle for the community. This time around, I had more time. I was home. It was a normal week. My wife didn't need the computer throughout the week, so I got to squeeze in a lot more sessions. And let me tell you, normally when I'm playing PoE, like on standard or something, I'm play and then I know it's time for bed because I died because I was walking into in the same wall for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I get hit. Or I'll go and I'll be, I'll die 5 times in a map that it was just because my eyes were closed and I didn't realize they were closed for 3 seconds type of thing. Like, that's how normally my sessions end. I lose my entire level because I'm tired and I'm like, okay, time for bed. Obviously, you can't do that in hardcore. You can't let the game tell you you're done. So I slept like a champ this week. Like I'm wide awake and I'm like, well, I'm probably going to be tired eventually. And I don't want that to kill my character. So good night, everyone. And so I went to bed a lot earlier than usual and it was awesome. But I got to tell you, my wrists, I am not used to this much PC play in a week. Yeah. And my wrists are killing. Well, my right one anyway. Even though I have one of those sweet ergonomic. That's not even
ergonomic.
What's the real word?
Ergonomic.
That's not real. It's like you're
right. It's ergonomic. Ergonomic.
Aerodynamic.
You can move it super fast and it's good for your wrist.
That's right. Anyway, my wrist has been thanking me since I died. But yes, I did die. I had a great character though. I was surprised. You did well. Like it leveled really well. I was nice and slow, but I leveled really well. The gear came and it was fine. But I mean, for the majority of my leveling. Oh, for those that don't know, just in case, Justin and I had a private league. It was hardcore solo self-found.
It will be over the day this episode comes out.
Yep. So we hope you had a good time.
Yep.
And anyway, I don't play hardcore. Justin doesn't. I play solo self-found all the time. Justin doesn't. And so it's fun because it's not our element. And for the majority of the people that we think are playing, I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing quite well, but for most people that are in, it's not really their element either. And it's just fun to not be in the proper element together. I doubled. Maybe, no, I didn't. 30. No, I didn't. Shoot. Son of a, and I didn't even get 75.
You didn't get to 75.
I started as a scion.
What did you get
to? 68, I think it was. And I was a scion and I was going witch and gladiator. I just got my gladiator ascendancy to make me really defensive. And I was going to go through. So I did all the acts and I finished campaign except for Kitava. And what I wanted to do before I got my last bit of resists or my resist penalty, I wanted to go through and exhaust my sulfite and delve. And then I wanted to go through and do all my heist contracts that I earned during campaign. And there's one thing every league that kills me, but every league I forget about it until it kills me. And then I'm like, oh, right, that happens every league. So when you're delving, you're always like 99% of the time that you're delving, your crawler is maxed, right? Like your dark resist is capped. Your light radius is capped. And so you're used to that. And that's how you're delving all the time, because once it's capped, it's really easy to keep it capped, right? So out of all the and especially because I play standard, I'm not re-leveling characters all the time and going into delve. And so I forget when I'm delving with a new character that I don't have that upgraded AoE, and I'm running away and like you're a centimeter. That's a real thing, by the way, a centimeter away from your crawler, and you're starting to take big darkness damage because you haven't leveled it yet. So anyway, I'm out and I'm like, oh, crafting recipe. I run to it, and then I come back to my crawler, and I wasn't anywhere near. The darkness destroyed me.
Did you watch the clip of you dying?
Yes, that was very kind of someone to post it.
I was so happy that they did. And I think they tagged me in it when they did, because I think I was going to bed one night or whatever. But the best part is the crawler's coming directly south, and then it's a fork, and it's either going to go right or left. And just below continued south is the stop where it's going to end. And just to the left of that stop is the crafting recipe. And as it comes to the fork, Tyler gets excited and sees this crafting recipe that is just to the left of where it's going to finish. So he starts to run that way, but the crawler actually goes right. And they're going to meet up at my favorite part, though, is that had you just followed the crawler, it would have stopped at that spot and you would have clicked so Tyler goes left and I was watching, I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good. I think you actually clicked the crafting recipe and then you were like, oh no. Oh, I actually thought you might live. Like you died literally right as you hit the light. It was hilarious.
Oh, the timing was
what a crappy way
milliseconds.
It was done because, so well too.
But here's the good thing, though. I can be encouraged by it because my build was really easy. I was in very few circumstances where I was hit really hard and was panicking. And it was a rock solid hardcore build, which is nice because I never play hardcore and I don't design even my guides for hardcore. But it was a rock solid hardcore build. And it was just me being too, I don't know, what's the word? Habitual, I guess, in Delve that got me killed. So... anyway, I can't tell you, though, how many times I've gone one direction and the crawler's gone another direction, getting to that center point where, you swear it's a 50-50 shot. So anyway, yep, I died, but 68, and I was pretty happy with it.
And so part of our private league was the lottery, which there's going to be 5 winners of this lottery. The threshold to get into the lottery is they have to have one living character higher than Tyler at the end of the league. So 68 is the line to beat.
And there were a lot of people that were excited about that threshold at the beginning of the league because my previous record was 39. So, but 68, that's encouraging for me. And I was quite happy with it. Died in a dumb way, but hey, that's life. How about you? Tell me about your build, your week. How you been?
My God. I hated the Scion this week. I hated the
Scion. So just in case you missed it, Justin and I made a pact. For some reason, we thought this was a good idea. I loved it. We looked at, before the league started, we looked at PoE Ninja, and we looked at, for all the hardcore solo self-found players in 313. We're 313, right? Or 312. No, we're 312. Whatever. Heist. Mm-hmm. And we looked at the 2 lowest classes, not ascendancies, but classes that for people that are being used in hardcore solo self-found on PoE Ninja. And that was the Ranger and the Scion. So Justin and I said, okay, let's pick. We have to pick one of them. We both have to be that same class. And we have to take it and we have to be that class until we hit 75. So I didn't hit 75.
So you can't play anything but a Scion until you get 75.
I will be a Scion until I hit 75. In our next league. Yes. Yeah, it continues forever. But we did have to do that in hardcore as well. And so Justin has always hated the Scion. No good reasons, of course. It's just a personal thing. I think they have a history and he's just not telling us. But anyway, tell us about your fantastic Scion experience.
I made, I guess, maybe a slight mistake in that I decided to try new things with the Scion because the Scion's such a weird class because you can go in so many different directions, right? You're not, when you pick a marauder, you tend to go certain directions, no matter what ascendancy, you kind of tend to go towards certain styles of play. You're not going to play like for the most part, you're not going to play some casting style character on the marauder side of the tree or, that's just in general. But Scion's so unique because it's right in the middle. Your ascendancies branch out. And so I thought, I'm going to try some different things. I'm going to see what I can do. It did not go well at all. And the reason for it is I think that Scion can be strong endgame. I think it actually can be relatively strong endgame.
Of course it can.
Of course, that's absolute nonsense. Like reasonable. I actually think though that it is the worst class to level out of all of them. And because it's so jack of all trades stuck in the middle, I think it is one of the worst classes to level because it has no real direction in the beginning. The first ascendancy is the worst in the whole game. It is the worst ascendancy in the whole game. So until you get your second and third, literally, yeah, because that first one is complete an extra passive point. Whoopee. Yeah, that's so that it. I feel like it should be a different way around. Like maybe your first one somehow is designed to be a good ascendancy point, and then maybe the second one's not as great. Like it's depressing to have no benefit at all to the first ascendancy. unless you're a stats building.
Nah,
You can say you love it. I'm telling you what I don't
s-
like about it. I think it's stupid. Every single other class is better to level than a scion because you get an ascendancy early on that's going to be beneficial. Almost every single one. You're going to get some benefit out of it. The scion doesn't. You're not getting that till the second and third one.
There's so many other perks besides ascendancy, though. Like you get so many options of melee, projectiles, spells, minions. You have such a general. You get so many more skill gems.
No, see, here's the
when
problem.
when you're leveling with your quests, you get so many more item options for your.
That
quest
means nothing.
rewards.
By Act 3, you can get everything. Who cares? That's so dumb. The thing is, every single thing you could argue, I could tell you could do that better with a different class. Every single one. Every single one, if you level starting as a different class, it's going to be a better leveling experience. You're going to be more into a melee section. You're going to be more into a casting section. You're going to be more into a project. Like the Scion is right there in the middle. The only benefit to Scion is the first 4 points if you go straight down, because you're just getting a crap load of resists. That's their biggest benefit, is the resist right off the bat. I just think it's not, I think Scion is actually, when I got further in, like it took me 4 or 5 characters to finally get up to like 50 and 60.
Why'd you use so many characters, Just? Why'd you use so
They
many?
died. Because it's a dumb class. It's just stupid. And so finally, I went back to friggin' Ball Lightning Mine. Easy to level. And that's what I ended up leveling with. And I was like, whatever, I'm just going to carry this into my Ascendancy too. It is, but again, I like it later in the game. The fact that I can take something that's Ball Lightning and go like Saboteur and Pathfinder is really fun, because you couldn't do anything like that normally, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I was going Saboteur, I wouldn't be getting the benefits of the Pathfinder and the Flask. So I like that later in the game, but leveling, it is a nightmare. It's not fun to level.
Oh,
I tried slams though. So shout out to Hawaiian Soldier. He hooked me up with he's like, here's a POB you can take a look at. And at that point I was like, I'll do anything. I don't really care at this point. It was fun. But when that character died, which was, that was my own fault. It was actually one of the stronger leveling ones that I had done. And it was my own fault when it died. But all I kept thinking was I'm really going to try a slam build, and I'm just not going to do it with a Scion because there's so many better ways to do it. So I hate the Scion. I ended up getting to 82, I think. And I died to such a dumb thing. I was so strong. By the time I was up there and doing maps, it was easy. My guy was tanky, like really tanky the way I'd set him up, her up. You know, in Act 10, those weird gargoyles that will fire like crazy strong projectiles at you, or they'll like jump in the air and then land on you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah. They're Kitava Heralds. I love them for specters.
I was in, I want to say it was Museum or something. I can't remember which map, but there was a rare version of it. It had powerful crits, increased attack, and something else. And it was doing damage, but I was like, oh, this is fine. And I could have moved. It was not, it was super telegraphed. I knew it was coming, but I'm like, I'll be fine. And poof, I was dead. Now, I will say it made me really happy to die, because I had broken 75, which meant I didn't have to play the Scion anymore. And I was so finished with that stupid class. So I got to 82. It was really fun. Okay, so this private league, I know there's people still playing it, and I think it ends at, I want to say it's noonish our time on Sunday, the day that this comes out. So this will come out at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday. So 11 hours later is when it will end. It's really fun watching people fight for first, especially because this is the first league we've done where you have to be living in the end to win. And so it's really fun where people were talking in general chat within the game or within Discord about, do you keep going? Because you can also win up to 2 classes. So there are people who are trying to win on 2 classes. Yep. I cannot believe how many Scions there were. And a lot of them were like doing it just so they could beat us, which was not super hard. But it is really fun to see how many of these classes have people like really vying for that first place, and they're really close.
I love seeing this leaderboard, and I love seeing more dead people. It's my favorite part. I have a hard time being like, I know people put a lot of effort in, and it's sad. And even if you're playing for fun like me, I was pretty bummed about it, but it's really hard to not go, yeah, stick it. when somebody dies in hardcore.
There were like multiple scion deaths of people that were ahead of me. And I was like, it pushed me to first for like a day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It didn't
For a
last long
day.
at all.
No, that's because you don't know how to play Scion. But I love seeing it. And it's not going to matter because it's coming out basically when the league's done, but I'm not going to be playing anymore. So 68's the threshold for the thing, for the prize. And it's just, so I'm just going to be watching the leaderboard every day now and seeing, the close battles. There's some ascendancies where it's pretty distant. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying the aspect of requiring a living character to participate in the rewards.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. I'm excited for the next one. So guess what? I'm gonna pass campaign next time. Better watch out. Never know what the league's gonna be. Heist apparently was pretty. Some people that were a little nervous with hardcore were just completely avoiding Heist because it's pretty.
I was terrified in Heist. I was like level 40 doing my 2s and 3s. It was freaking scary. I didn't actually do any of them. In the sense of like completing them, I would run in, get my loot, and run back out. I wouldn't trigger the alarm. It's too scary.
So before we move on to this week in PoE, I just have one more thing to say. Scion's awesome.
No, it's the worst. Absolute worst class.
Do you
know how I at least know that I'm right too? Is that it's the by far lowest percentage of any class in hardcore solo stuff on. And I'm not trying to take away from the Scion being good later. I actually think it is a really cool class once you get to your 3rd and 4th ascendancy, because you just can do things with it you can't do with any other class. But the leveling process is just in soft core. I'll bet you it would have been great. It wouldn't have bothered me at all because, okay, you die. I could have built up almost all of my characters to probably being quite strong end game, but it is a challenge to get there. And I'm not used to hardcore anyway. So trying to play in a hardcore mentality with a gimpy character like class is just totally different. I'm just not used to it.
I love at least you and I are on the same page with the starting skill. You and I, as a starting skill, spectral throw is not our thing. We were both laughing how long it took either of us to kill Hillock because I can't do that. You have to be in such a specific distance away to get your maximum amount of damage with spectral throw, right? So that it spins at the end of its distance and comes back. And I can't do that on PC. No way. It takes me 5 clicks to actually click on Hillock, even though he's huge.
It was the worst part about dying. Every time I died, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do Hillock again with spectral throw.
And it's so you and I were both laughing. We're like doing it at the same time in our own worlds. And like, are you at a mana too? Yeah. This is taking a long time. Attack, spectral throw. Anyway, so this week in PoE was a lot busier than it seemed. The news that came out, there's a lot to talk about. Lots and lots and lots.
Yeah, well, I mean, I say let's save the whole what they're doing in between. Let's talk about that on its own. Let's do that at the end, but let's talk about some of the other stuff that happened.
Okay, well, congratulations to Fall Makes Hideouts. You listened to the show, but you made the hideout competition. I was looking for your name. We saw your name up there. Congratulations for getting up there. Good for you. And for anyone else listening, if you participated, whether you won something or not, good job. We're familiar with Fall, but so we don't mean offense to anyone else that listens, and we didn't shout you out, but congratulations, Fall. Good for you.
Did you look at a lot of them?
Oh my goodness. I do. I love those. And I am always blown away. I cannot believe how they do what they do. Not only with like when you see that option, whatever it is, this decoration in your decorations list.
A chair.
Yeah. I don't see like, oh no, that would look good here. I just see a chair and I'm like,
especially because there's 30 versions. There's 30 versions of it.
Yeah. And to even just how you place it, like that type of meticulous placement, I cannot believe how they do this. Did any stand out to you? All of them?
Literally all of them. I am a little disappointed there's no link to download them all because I want to steal them. The freaking Minas Morgul.
Yes, you noticed it.
Oh my, are you kidding? Of course. I was like, oh man.
We are Lord of the Rings nerds. Just a little bit. And oh man, for them to do Minas Morgul, that was pretty awesome. I I think that was on the Celestial background, so I would buy that just for I could download that. That was pretty sweet.
Wait, some of them do have links.
Ooh.
Oh, gonna be stealing some of those. Anyway, they're amazing. I don't know how people think of this stuff. It's crazy, but well done and good job, Fall. That's awesome.
Yes. Do you read the Div Card interview? I haven't had a chance. It's on my task list for Tuesday.
I didn't. I appreciate like hearing the stories behind them, but I don't often think to like pay a ton of attention to it. But that one I will. I think it's kind of cool. I like hearing the stories behind them, but they're not a big focus for me. But I like that they at least put them up there so you can check them out later.
Yeah. It's cool that you can still get them. You know, pay the money, the support to get a Div Card or unique.
Yeah. I feel
you don't like
for me. No, I do. I think it's good for people who want it. To me, do you know how I look at a Div Card? I look at it the same way. Sometimes I just look at life in general and go, what's left to invent? Like we've got it all. And so I look at the Div Cards and I'm like, I wouldn't even know what to come up with. I literally wouldn't.
To me, cordless things were the worst thing invented because now I can't find anything. I want to go back to consoles that were corded. I want to go back to like TV remotes that were actually plugged into the TV because I lose that stuff everywhere. So I think we're going back.
They built things you can attach to them that you can like, I don't know, GPS find them or something.
I'm just waiting for the day where I can snap my fingers and the remotes go right into my hand.
That'd be
but we
awesome.
were talking, I think, to Stark online when we were doing one of our broadcasts, and he was saying that he's in the process of something like that. And it's pretty cool when they go back and forth and they talk to GGG about what you can and can't do and the process of going in and out. And it's cool.
I wouldn't have an idea at all for what to do. Would you?
I don't know. Call it Justin's Div Card. And then the flavor text is, I love this game. You can make the reward.
No, but what's the reward?
That's
that thing I can never figure out is the reward.
The frequency is what matters. People always care about the reward. Make it the frequency. Everyone knows about the carrion crow. Everyone, even if it's not even in your filter. What if one day you met the creator of the carrion crow?
I wouldn't care.
That'd be awesome. You could walk around and be like, yeah, everybody knows my Div Card.
No.
Everyone's trying to make the headhunter Div Card. No way. No, you just get the one. Like, imagine the scholar. Oh, man, you'd give the scholar a hug, wouldn't you?
Can I just say, actually, speaking of the scholar, when I was leveling my scion and doing maps, I got one scholar through like multiple museums. It actually made me angry. I was like, this is how I get my wisdom scrolls. What the frick?
I got a billion.
Oh,
that's
so mad.
Awesome. Oh, that's sweet. All right. Now, normally, I don't like GGG's hiring and companies hire all the time. And that's great. Personally, I love it when I see that GGG's hiring because it's just me getting like, oh, sweet. The game's just getting better and they're growing. That's awesome. But did you see, now I've worked in QA in the video game industry, quality assurance for a long time. For people that don't know what that is, that's basically just testing the game. The player that's told, okay, you're testing sound for this game, the menus for this game, take franchise mode, 30 year, whatever. You test whatever you're told to test for that day. But I never, ever had the requirements that are required for QA. I love how huge the requirements are just for QA. Like you need a BA, a bachelor degree in computer science or software engineering, game design, or some sort of equivalent. Like that's crazy.
Is an equivalent like beating games? Does that count?
Yeah. I have spent a lot of time in front of my computer.
Yeah.
And then you need some QA experience within the industry. And one thing that I love, and this is on a regular basis, you need at least 1,000 hours of PoE on your profile before you can apply. I think that's really cool.
That kind of makes sense. That one makes sense.
It does with the complexity of this game as opposed to any other. Yeah, but I love that you need a BA. That's awesome. That's like 4 years of school here.
I feel like to me, the 1,000 hours makes more sense than all the rest of it does. I mean, the experience in some sort of QA work is probably good just because then you kind of understand the process of QA. I think almost anyone can pick up the process of QA, though. I think the benefit of being in the game more is more beneficial than all of it. What's crazy to me, though, is what a horribly hard time to try and hire someone, especially in a country where they almost always have to hire from within. Like bringing somebody into New Zealand to work is really hard.
Yeah.
That's not from New Zealand is quite difficult. So good luck. I think they're actually now hiring for even more than QA.
Oh yeah, there was 6 positions, and I don't know if it's just one of each position or not. But yeah, there were 6 different positions. They listed all of their qualifications. But I just love the
QA.
And it's no offense, I love QA, and I think it's such an important, valuable aspect to it. To any game, you have crappy QA and you have a crappy game.
Mm-hmm.
But I just loved that you needed a BA. That never out here. EA would never ever. that's a lot of money that you got to pay those BAs. Anyway, yeah, I thought that was awesome. And did you check out the sales? There's like normally like we just briefly touch the sale, but this is a really unique sale. Last week we were like, what sale is going on next week? Of course, because we're not in the States, we forgot about the American Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Americans.
America. Do you think that they, like, we call them the States? Do you think they call them the States?
Who?
Think Americans call themselves, I live in the States? Is that a thing?
Sure. I imagine so.
I don't know. We say the States, but that's easy for us to say the States because we don't have states. We have provinces. So it's like, oh, going down the States. Go watch a game.
I'm not following. I don't. I mean, yes, I agree. I think so.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious. Maybe we just call them the States because it's a Canadian thing, eh?
Yeah.
So, I aid somewhere online and I didn't even notice, and someone called me out on it.
In text?
On
or
Reddit.
We're speaking?
No,
you
Reddit.
wrote A?
I don't know. Maybe somebody like called out my A.
We just
didn't
say
know
it.
that. Anyway, this Thanksgiving, that is a huge mug. Oh my goodness, people. Justin that is the biggest thermos drinking. What the heck?
It's Costco.
Of course it's Costco, but
the best part is when we bought it, we bought 2 of them. It came in a double pack.
A double pack?
Yeah, we got 2 of them.
That's enough for your family.
My wife, anyway, I told them, I'm going to fill it up and randomly pull it up while we're doing the podcast and see if Tyler notices. It takes up like the whole camera. It's like as big as me.
How many liters is that thing?
40 at least. I don't actually know.
It looks like a well.
It takes a lot to
with
fill up.
Handles. Oh my goodness. You got to make sure the kids aren't having a shower so you can fill it up.
Go on. It's so big.
So big.
I
couldn't even lift that thing. It would make my head swim.
Look how big it is. I'll put a picture of it in Discord so people can see it later.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, it's called High Sierra.
Okay, I'm gonna print screen. You go ahead and you go take your drink. I'm gonna show them how big it is. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on.
Where were we? What were we talking about?
No, hang on. I gotta say. Oh no, that's what I want right there. That's what I want right there. I gotta save this picture first. Just a minute.
Just send it to me later before you send it out.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so where were we?
Amazing.
Thanksgiving sale.
Yes, right. Thanksgiving sale. And so this Thanksgiving sale is unique. Like we were bringing up, like, why would they bump up this? Why would they go out of their routine for their stash tab sale?
They did
what was
talk
so
about
special about next week that they talked about? Took us 8 hours to figure out the importance of the American Thanksgiving. So I hope everybody's super thankful about thankful things to be thankful for. This sale is insane.
Tell me about it.
Let me tell you about it. It basically, they're going through all their themes, all their MTX, and they're all going on sale for prices that they're normally a lot cheaper than they normally are on their sales. And they're rotating every hour. And apparently, I forget what the exact details are, but as the day goes on or something, all the sales get even cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And so if you miss some, like, they're going to rotate through all their MTX throughout the entire weekend. So, I mean, you're getting this on Sunday, but it's pretty cool. They're giving people a lot of opportunity if you're paying attention to the sales. So all of a sudden, like, this is what I'm like with Black Friday and American Thanksgiving when all the sales start coming about. Like, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to get. Oh, I'll wait for a sale. That'd be cool to get. All of a sudden, Thanksgiving's here. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm always unprepared. And so I'm thinking about what I want to get a good deal on. By the time I'm ready and have done the research, Thanksgiving's done and the sales are done. So let's just say I went to the bathroom And I was there for a long time. I was done. But I was going through my phone. I was going through all the portals, adding to wish list. I was going through all the body armors and all the packs, adding to my wish list. I was there for a while. So anyway, good time. PoE in the bathroom.
Do they come back like after they go on sale? Like, I don't understand how the
Throughout
sale
the
works.
weekend, yeah, they're going to rotate.
It's constantly going through them.
Yeah, it's constantly rotating.
Oh, interesting.
So I was a long time there.
Somebody did tag me in Discord to let me know when all the celestial sales would be.
Yeah, that was very kind of them.
Yes, I appreciate it.
That was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, no. Anyway, the only reason I pointed that out because a sale is a sale, but that was really cool.
When does it end?
I mean, I don't know. End of the weekend.
Okay, so it's just a weekend thing.
Note. Yeah, and so now I'm going through. I'm like, oh no, but the zombies did get that project skin, and then there's a project theme and a project portal, but I don't really like the portal. And so now I'm going through, and I'm going through all the stresses of, I only want to spend like $40 total, if that, and which one do I get? Because I can't, if I'm adding skeletons to my zombie build, well, the skeletons don't match the project skin, and
can't have that.
I know. And then I tried with an ice character a long time ago to match the Arctic, I forget if it was Arctic armor or the ice armor or which, and I was trying to match it with other shield skins and portal skins because it didn't have the whole set. And some of the color is different than the way I wanted it and the tones, and so it's not the way I wanted it. So I don't want to do that again. Anyway, it's cool. I'm going to buy a lot of leaves and a lot of rain for my hideout.
Yeah, you like that stuff. Okay, let's talk about their big announcement of what they're going to be doing between, well, it's their December stuff that's going to be taking place instead of 3.13, which was originally going to come out in the middle of December, which is now coming out middle of January. So they've got some events that are happening. So let's just do one at a time and tell me, I'm curious what your thoughts are on them. So the first one is going to be starting December 4th, and it's going to be a 1 week event. That's their Mayhem event.
I never knew what Mayhem was until I read this.
Oh, I guess you hadn't played probably in the past ones.
I know, well,
because they did have something similar to this before.
Yeah. I've never played their fill-in stuff at the end of a league.
Okay. Yeah. So basically the way that this league will work is each area that you encounter, it'll have one of the following, either 20 rogue exiles, 20 strong boxes, 20 invasion bosses, 10 breaches, 20 tormented spirits, or 20 harbingers. Each area will have one of these mods, and that mod will change every hour. So as you're going through, you'll just have random mods.
That blows my mind. Every area, that's not map. So as you're going through the game, I'm expecting in Act 1, when you're going to break the eggs, there could be 10 breaches. There could be 20 tormented spirits or 20 who knows like what their level cap is or restrictions for when those things start. But imagine 20 rogue exiles. That's a dream come true. I love mini bosses everywhere. Oh my goodness. That's
Will you play
cool. I want to experience it. Now, I'm not into, like, this league is going to be voided. So none of your characters are going to the parent league. So this is
their
just
items.
Right. This is just for fun. They have their reward system, right? So check that out if you're interested. And it's very generous if you're into MTX, which the rewards typically always are. But it's going to be voided. So the character that you play, it's just going to cease to exist. You're never going to be able to access it again. But I do want to see what areas are like with, I don't care about the strong boxes, but invasion bosses or rogue exiles or almost all of those are just, and I highly doubt they'd put 20 tormented spirits without 20 rares. Well, I hope they don't. So I'm going to try it. I am going to try it and see. I'm probably just going to play Act 1, but how about you? You like those Mayhem things?
It's to me. To me, they're fun, but they're more fun end game than the leveling process for me. And I don't think I would want to play a 1 week event to the end game and then experience it.
I have to use a scion, don't I?
No, only in our league. Only in our private leagues. So
okay. So it's not even the start of 3.13.
It's got to be hardcore. No, it's got to be hardcore. It's got to be something that there's a difficulty to get to 75.
Well, that's rough. Okay.
So anyway, that's the first one. That's going to go for 1 week. For that. The next one will start December 11th, which is also a 1 week event. This is the Endless Delve. So this one it's weird to me. So at various level thresholds, you'll have access to the passive points you'd normally gain from quests and incur Kitava's resistant penalty. You also have to ascend your character by using the Altar of Ascendancy from within the mine encampment. Lily Roth will be available alongside Nico to provide access to skill gems. You won't have access to any towns or your hideout, which means you'll be taking to the darkness 100% solo. It's cool. The idea is cool.
I love the prospect of it. No crafting bench, no nothing. Like it's what drops is what you get, and you just automatically level and get your skill. I think that's so cool. I probably won't play it because, again, this league is voided. And I mean, I'm a standard player, so something that gets voided is like, oh, but I like the idea of it. I'd be curious if that would be something that you'd be capable of having like as a separate league or login option when you're creating a character. Like, can you have a delve only character one day? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I assume maybe this is a bit of a test for that. I think the idea is cool. I could see myself maybe trying it in the beginning just to see. Thing is, it's coming out on December 11th. I do plan on playing Cyberpunk, which I think is on the 13th. So I am just curious to see how it works. The idea of it being locked into this one area just seems really cool.
Yeah.
But that's about it for me.
Do you think that having an endless delve option would be good for an alternate version of leveling? You have a kind of a, and I agree with you, kind of a hate on for always having to re-level characters. There's no shortcuts or ways once you've played 500 characters to level your 501st one. Do you think like an endless delve would be a fun way to level your character?
Sure.
If they had some version of being able to do that instead of campaign.
Yeah, I actually think you could make it the endless delve is or the delve becomes more of a thing that you could level with, which because you wouldn't need the sulfite in order to actually do them. And then you could also still do this thing where you could get quests to incur the Kitava's resistances. I love the idea of just like using an altar of ascendancy from within the mine encampment.
Yeah.
I don't know that they would ever get rid of that for the leveling process, but yeah, sure. I literally would take anything other than doing Act 1 through 10.
I just realized this. You don't have to do the trials or labs. You're ascending without them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew that you weren't going to do it, but it just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice.
They could, oh my goodness. Imagine now like the outcry, once people like that settles in for people that are actually playing, they're ascending without all that junk. Imagine, oh man, they just add like in PoE 2, all of a sudden, okay, you're finished Act 3. Here's your first 2 ascendancy points.
Yeah, there'll be like 2 or 3 psychopaths that'll be like, where's my lab?
This will be the one time I agree with you that they're psychopaths. They're like that guy that walked into Walmart without a mask.
Yeah, so
Lab
December 18th will be the third event, and this is going to be a 3-week event. This is a heist flashback. In each area, you'll contest with several popular mods from past leagues in a harrowing mad dash for power and glory. Alongside Heist, each area and wraeclast will have a random selection of 3 of the following mods present. These mods will change every hour on the hour.
I love that.
This is a heist event, which means that alongside the chaos of past mods, you'll have access to heist content in its current form. This is a separate event to the heist league, which means you'll need to make a fresh character in order to participate. Cool.
Yeah, I love the guaranteed 3 extra mods while you're going through. And it's cool because now they're adding heist to it, right? They're not just throwing heist out the window while you're doing this. And it is technically a second heist league per se, but it's not voided. So you get to play with all this extra content and you get all the bonus content that heist just throws at you, all that extra currency. So that'll be cool. And that'll be something that'll be fun to play because, it's not voided. You get to keep your goods.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm not overly excited. I think of all of the stuff, I think it's at least good that they're just going to keep heist running alongside of all of this right up until January 11th so that you can still continue to just play the league like normal. So those are the 3 leagues the 3 things coming up. I think they're going to be really cool to watch. I'm not sure how involved I'll get. I am really curious though. So January 7th, they're going to have their announcement, the 313, but it's a live stream.
Yeah.
That's so unique.
They normally do it via interview, right? Like Ziggy or Wraeclast or whatever. They'll have their video and then they have, right. But so they'll have their presentation. They'll just show it, right? They have the countdown and then the website crashes because everybody's F5ing it. And then they come out with their league announcement. And then 45 minutes after that, they're on either Wraeclast or Ziggy or something, right? So this will be, I don't
Are they
think I've
doing
ever
their own
seen,
live stream, or are they doing somebody else's live stream then?
I don't know. Just from the wording, I assumed it was them hanging out in their office doing a live stream about it, something pre-scripted, but maybe it is just them saying, hey, we'll be joining Ziggy. But I thought that was really cool. And I've been following a lot of GGG's comments on Reddit. Beck said they will be including how Harvest is being implemented in that stream.
Cool.
So I'm excited for that. Yeah, they're not, leaving it for us to discover, or one of their, I guess, marketing perks that they use to keep you interested until the league comes out. So yeah, and that's going to be 2 weeks, right? Or no, 1 week away. PC launch is 8 days later.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be neat. And Heist ends somewhere in between there, which is expected. One thing I really liked, you're going to roll your eyes at this, but I like that they had a firm console launch date too. Even though the community's but I like it. Even though the community's smaller, they're not ignoring it, and they're throwing out, hey, so, January 15th is the PC launch and the 21st is the console launch. I like that. I'm really excited for the next league. We're always going to say this, but I'm super stoked for what that next league is going to be, and to see how crafting is going to change a lot, even if Harvest gets implemented in such a minor way. I'm excited to see what this new way is going to be, right? Like, now we've gone through how many different waves of crafting, like life before Jun, right? Remember when crafting was with each individual master, there wasn't even a crafting bench. And then Jun was added to the mix. And so now they're adding hard. Like, it's been a lot of generations. I'm excited. You're cyberpunking all week, hey?
I don't know. I will definitely play it, but I have a whole month. There's no way I'll play it for a whole month. January 15th will be the 3.13 release. So, and I am going to check out the little weird events that are happening in between. None of them besides Endless Delve, which just seems unique. That's why I'm more drawn towards that. It's just something they haven't done before. But January 15th will be 3.13. So that'll be exciting.
I mentioned I was following some of GGG's posts on Reddit, or I guess all of them. I like to read what they're doing. I'm surprised how often Mark_GGG responds to people on like mechanical questions. It's really cool how often he's responding. I'm also really surprised though how often GGG responds to people that are asking questions that are directly answered in GGG's post. Like, it'll say these characters are voided, they're not coming back. And then it's like, so do we get to keep our characters? No, they are voided. I'm surprised they have so many of these redundant answers.
It's because people don't actually read. It's too much work.
But to me, I'd be like, okay, that's nice. Like with my guides, I quote my guides and I write them specifically so that I can copy and paste them. And the copy and paste isn't going to be rude. It'll be polite type of thing. But if it's in the guide, they're like, hey, what alternate supports do you suggest? And I'll be, well, in the guide it says, and then I quote it. I'm just surprised. It's not really a criticism. It's nice of them. I mean, I can't believe how often they keep their heads on straight when they're responding to people. You know what I mean? Like, I would be like, it's in the post, read it. It's in the post, read it.
I can't give specifics, but we had an issue this week where one of our responses to our entire team was, if you would read your email, you would know the answer. Like, people are just terrible at reading. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. I hear you. Now we've been playing HC. We're basically HC pros now, hardcore. It's, I had a lot of fun. I like the fear of dying. And then just the, I died. That's what I do very well in PoE. I died. Do you think PoE, like, it's really become a mainstream hardcore not that long ago? How many leagues ago was hardcore just something you had to personally, keep track of? Like GGG didn't always have a hardcore option available to them. When was that? Was that 3.0?
Hardcore's been around forever.
Really? Oh, it was Solo Self-Found.
They
had the, right. Then they added the actual tracking for leaderboard. Right. Okay, never mind. Do you think Path of Exile's stable enough now that hardcore's worthwhile to a casual hardcore player? Like someone who loves hardcore but doesn't play 8 hours a day. Like we see some of the mainstream guys playing or girls playing, and they play hardcore all the time. They take it, all the way to the end of the game and they crush the game way better than I could, and they do it on hardcore. But to a casual but hardcore fan, do you think the game's stable enough for that now?
I think it's stable enough. I still, if I was, I play casually. No way besides our leagues would I want to play hardcore.
Yeah.
It's not fun. I don't have the time. If I could level a guy up within a day, like a lot of people can do when they're streaming, because you're playing for, 7 or 8 hours. Sure. What, then there's also the benefit of the fact that you're entertaining people, and you dying can be entertaining, right? So that's a benefit to hardcore. The game to me is fine. I had a huge benefit once I learned how to use Awakened PoE trade to do the /exit, so that if something bad was happening, I could hit one button and log out. But the game itself, I feel like, is relatively fine, stability wise. I don't know if I'd ever want to play hardcore at the beginning of a league, because you don't know mechanics. Sometimes things are overtuned. Sometimes the servers are iffy.
Yeah.
But I also, this is coming just from me, from a humorous side, I love seeing those people cry that are playing hardcore at the beginning of a league that die and then freak out about it.
Disconnect or crash.
I think it's hilarious.
Them. Yeah. But you'd be comfortable, like, if there was if one of our buddies eventually wanted to get into the game, but for some reason they were a fan of hardcore modes and games.
I would never play with them. Absolutely
not play with them, but you'd be comfortable saying, like, yeah, the game's totally fine for hardcore. You think, yeah,
you're gonna die. Cool. Get used to it. As long as you're fine with re-rolling, sure. I would never join them, but I would ask them to record their deaths so I could laugh.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Xbox record that, because obviously they're playing on console. Hey, did you know? So my zombies. Here's the thing. How do I say this? It's really easy. I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh, right. When I was going through with my scion, and I'm playing with my zombies and skeletons, and Spectre, did you know that when you enchant an item, it basically resets the item? So let me give you an example. I had my Spectres in my helmet, I think. My Spectre and Golem in my helmet. And then I added my helmet enchant from the lab, and it killed them. It didn't just Yeah, I didn't know it did that. And so I'm running around half the time I'm playing my game. I didn't have half my minions with me. I only noticed it. I'm like, when did I turn off my Spectre? How did they die? They're so beefy now. Like, that they shouldn't be dying. And I was all concerned, and I was like double checking my tree, making sure I wasn't using the wrong tree, and I was only going offense with my minion nodes. And then it was only when I enchanted the item that my zombies were in at the time, and then all my zombies died the second I clicked the enchantment to put it on my gloves or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Did you know that? I mean, with a lot of skills, I guess you can't tell.
Not minions, but I have noticed it with auras. Like, it'll automatically turn off auras if they were in that item that they were socketed into. I don't know why it is, but
maybe because the skill, the enchantment modifies that skill in a way. No, but it still wouldn't. It's not at.
To me, what it does is it treats it as if you just quickly unequipped and re-equipped it, which would normally turn off your aura if you had an aura running. I don't know why it does that, but that seems to be the way it reacts.
Interesting.
I texted you about this when we were playing in our hardcore league, because I started to go a little bit slower and a little bit more thoughtful as I was trying to level the dumbest class in the game. And I found something I did not know about, which I'm sure everybody does, but it surprised me that where you kill Alira in Act 2, when you go back there in, I think it's Act 6, when you're running back the other way through there.
Her arena's still there?
Her arena's there, and there's a crafting recipe in there. I had no idea.
Don't get me started on crafting recipes in this game. Not the recipes, sorry, how you unlock them.
It's the level 3 to all stats recipe.
That's a good one too. I probably don't even have that on standard, not knowing about it.
Yeah, I was very surprised when I was walking by. I was like, what? So I went and checked the other arenas too. And well, to be honest, I only checked Oaks because I don't know. Because you can't really go back to what's his faces, because that's where the actual home base is for Act 6. Right. But Oaks doesn't have another one. But yeah, Lyra's has a crafting recipe in Act 6.
I forget who it was, and my apologies for not shouting you out, but there was one in, on the way to Innocence and Gravitius or whatever his name is. Like, I don't know the original guy's name, but, with that, like, area, the temple or whatever you're going through, and then you're on your way to the steps to go fight Innocence. It's that huge kind of loop around.
Yep.
And you can hug the left wall for the shorter route, or you can hug the right wall for the longer route. Well, I always hug the right wall, no matter if it's shorter or longer. I never knew that if you hugged the left wall, there's out of nowhere, there's also a crafting recipe that you have to click on.
What's
I
it for?
didn't know that. I've never had it. I don't know what it was for. I forget. I didn't write it
I didn't
down.
know that either.
I didn't. And I never knew. And someone that was watching me told me about it. So I went through and I did it because I died no, I didn't die because it was hardcore. I had to go back. I don't remember why, but I went back and it was there. And I don't know if I have that on any of my other playthroughs or characters or on standard. I hate how those clickable crafting recipes are unlocked. I hate it.
I think it would be kind of cool if when you entered a zone, it just told you, hey, somewhere in this zone, there's hidden a crafting recipe, so that you knew to look for it or something. Because I didn't know that about that one you were just talking about.
Or maybe like as a quest thing, you know how like, hey, get the lab in this area. Same thing. Maybe, hey, there's a crafting recipe in this area. Or even if it was just like every boss or something, I don't know. You know, you kill it and it just automatically unlocks. To me, when it's clickable, it's missable. And I hate that because I'm being thorough. I'm going through the game. I'm beating the content. Why can't I? Why do I not have this recipe? And it's only because I missed it or because I didn't completely clear a map while I'm leveling.
Helena should like zap into your area and be like, hey, there's a crafting recipe here. And then she disappears.
Yeah. And then it gives it to you. Like I really like, no.
Yeah.
No clickables. Clickables are missable.
Stop making things easy.
But no.
And just because you rhyme it doesn't mean it's right.
Oh man, rhyming makes everything right. Now, here, think of this. Like when you're getting your, what's it called when you have your divine vessel and you upgrade it, right? You kill the boss, the proper boss, and then you fill your divine vessel. I guess it's just called a filled divine vessel. There's nothing telling you did it, right? Like if you forgot, you end up finding the next time you go to a map, your divine vessel's in there, but there's no pop-up telling you that it's there. When you're doing like a fated unique with prophecy, there's no pop-up telling you that you accomplished this deed when you killed the boss. It's just all of a sudden there's a different unique in your inventory. The game needs more pop-ups. And if I had a rhyme for the game needs more pop-ups, mean hop-ups? I don't know. Anyway.
You're done with your rhymes.
But no, clickables, the clickable recipe thing. I think it's dumb.
It's all right.
They're
fine. I think if it gave you a notification that there was something there, it wouldn't be as bad because you're right.
Yeah.
The one that I talked about and the one you talked about, never knew. I've played this game for a long time, had no idea.
Yeah, 999 hours. You're not worthy for QA.
No.
I agree, though. Even if they didn't do the thing that I want to, you add it as one of the quest things, just like you do for trials and labs. Or trials, I guess it would be. I
just
like
make it
idea.
annoying like prophecies when you complete them so that it's in front of your face and right like you can't get rid of it. Well, you can click the X, but
a big Dark Souls, you died.
Learn a craft. All right, I think this is a good spot to wrap up episode 57 of Forever Exiled, a Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Record of Days.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you want more information, you can check out the show notes below. We've got a website, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. Our Discord links below. Come join us on there. Good luck to everybody finishing off the race. And you can find more about our Patreon down below as well. We'll catch you guys in episode 58 and Patreons and After Dark. Peace.
Oh, that was good. You did that really well. Good for you.
I've been practicing all week. That's all I've been saying.